And we are live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Stock Watch Sunday. Letting some folks roll in here. Hopefully we can make some money this week and really kind of get down into the market and see what are some good opportunities to buy up. And if you are visiting for the first time, first of all, welcome to Own the Chaos. My name is Brad, and this channel is specifically dedicated to helping you own the chaos that is this crazy and chaotic world we call the stock market and investing. So let me welcome a few folks here. What's going on? Quick Fox, Robert, Alan, Bruce, Bob, good to see you guys here so far. We'll let some other folks roll in, but I just want to kind of let you guys know what goes on during Stock Watch Sunday. So if you've never been here before, just want to let you know what happens here is that I go over the stocks that I'm watching throughout this entire week. It can be something that you choose to day trade, short-term trading, or something that you might consider looking into for longer-term investing as well. So we cover all of those topics, and then I open it up after I go over the stocks that I'm watching throughout the week. I open it up to you guys. This gives you an opportunity to ask me questions. You can call in if you'd like to. I'll give you the number when I'm ready for you, or you can put them in the chat as well. So if you're interested in either one of those, I'll definitely open those up for more conversation. The only thing I would ask is that if you are putting any tickers in the chat itself, then please give me some substance, some content. Why do you see value in the stock instead of just entering it, inserting a ticker and kind of like leaving me to guess what you're thinking of it. So give me some context. I would certainly appreciate that. And I wanted to start off with, if you guys can give me the thumbs up, I'd certainly appreciate it as well, especially if you start to get value out of this video. If I haven't earned a thumbs up just yet, hopefully I will by the end of this live stream. What's going on, King Bradicus? What's up, O'Brien Robinson? Good to see you. Bo, what's up? My man. Jeff, good to see you. And Eunice, good to see you as well. What's up, David? So what's going on right now? Obviously, it seems as if over the last 6 weeks, maybe better part of 8 weeks now, as the weekend goes on, news progressively gets worse, right? And this past weekend has been no different. Numbers, of COVID have gone up considerably, as kind of expected, and I don't think that we are still in the worst of it yet as far as that is concerned. In my opinion, right now, obviously it's a good thing that the stimulus went through and it's enough to hold people over for the short term. But what's really going to get the market going is if we get some sort of positive responses from a lot of these biotech companies. Now, if you guys have been checking out some of my videos in the past, Friday I put out a video about the top biotech stocks to watch, and a lot of them had to do with the issues that we're dealing with at hand. REGN is working on, a vaccine with Gilead and Moderna. They're all working on feverishly, whatever you want to call it, on vaccines as well as treatments for this disease. And I think if there is any kind of breakthrough, that's what's going to get the market going. These stimulus packages and shoving a bunch of money into the market, that's one thing, but those are short-term problems to short-term solutions to a long-term problem. And so if we can really kind of get a hold of this thing and really have some breakthroughs on the medical side of things, I think that is when we will see the economy start to open back up and really start to see some massive movement in the upward, in the bullish direction as far as the overall market's concerned. So with that being said, there are earnings that come out this week, and there are plays that I think that we should consider taking a look at. Over the last 4 weeks, I've told you guys that there really isn't anything that I could say that would have an impact on earnings. We've seen earnings come out, and it's just nobody cares. We're going to sell it anyway. Doesn't matter if they had good earnings or not, because, stores are closing up and what have you. But what we have failed to realize, a lot of people have failed to realize because they're just selling everything and it's just, let's just liquidate it all because that's what really matters here. There are companies that will prevail and are doing well despite people staying at home. There are services that you can take advantage of while still being at home. We're going to go over McCormick this week. McCormick has earnings that come out on Tuesday. They come out Tuesday pre-market. McCormick has earnings that come out, and they're already a great company. They've been doing very, very well, growing amazingly well over the last several quarters. And, now I think the outlook here is going to be very positive. More people are staying home, means that more people are cooking. I know a lot of you out there who hate cooking are now being forced to cook. And guess what? You need seasoning. If you're not seasoning anything, I don't know what to tell you. That is not cooking. Throw some seasoning on that thing. And so McCormick, I think, is going to have a pretty good quarter. I think there's definitely something to watch out for, not only for earnings this week, but going beyond this week and long-term growth as well. I think McCormick does pretty good. The other one's going to be PVH, and then we're also going to look at RH as well, and Chewy too. So the theme of this whole Stock Watch Sunday today is going to be going over stocks that could and should do well through this time that we're dealing with as people are staying home. There are businesses that are staying open and that can actually do well despite everything else that's going on in the economy. So what's going on? Let me welcome a few more folks. What's going on, Peter? Chris, do I have a crystal ball? Man, I wish. Sometimes I get it right. Sometimes I don't. ABT, news on COVID test machine. Yeah, I saw that one as well. Okay, let's go. Let's get to it. So we're going to be looking at the first one we're going to look at is actually CGC. So if you can take a look here, and I'm going to bring you on over to WeTradeHQ.com. This is a platform that I've built with my partner Jake, where you can learn and grow, celebrate each other's success. It's a community of people, of traders, investors alike, just like you, that can help you navigate this crazy and chaotic world we call the stock market. And so the first thing that I'm going to look at, believe it or not, is CGC. Now, I would like to tell you, and actually let me bring you back here for just a hot minute, that the cannabis market has been going crazy right now. I think there's a lot of people that might be going a little nuts, or maybe they're realizing that they can't handle being in the same house for 14 days with loved ones or children or whatever, and they are getting high. There's reports out there across the states where this is legal that weed is flying off the shelves right now. And so one really good ticker that I like to look at to gauge the entire cannabis market is CGC, or Cannabis Growth Corporation. And if we look at this company right now, we look at this, you can see where this kind of really bottomed out here and really started to make an impressive move. This is down 70%, and I don't think CGC deserves to be down 70% at this point in time. And given reports that, cannabis is flying off the shelf, it's starting to act as if, cannabis is the new toilet paper, if I do say so myself. So looking at this, you can see here that it's starting to really develop a trend. This is the 4-hour trend on CGC. And really, when you're looking at the cannabis market as a whole, CGC is kind of like the litmus paper, if you will, or some. You want to see how the overall cannabis market's doing, you're going to check out CGC. So this is one that I just prefer to trade CGC because it's organized. It does move rather well. And I actually been trading it over the last couple of trading days and been doing very well on it too. And so I think this one actually continues to move up. You can see the trend looks quite nice there on CGC. And as long as it remains within this trend, I think that we see this ascending channel here. As long as it sticks within that channel, it's definitely a good one to trade. Some of you might be asking, what other cannabis stocks could I look at? Really, I like I said, I like CGC personally. TLRY, though, has also been doing extremely well. The thing is, with a lot of these cannabis stocks, is that, a lot of them are dealing with debt, and so they really have a tough time getting the feet off the ground. So if we go out to the daily chart on TLRY, you can see how well this has been doing. Let's do a 30-minute. This kind of paints a little bit of a better picture, but you can see how all the cannabis markets, anything that's related to cannabis, has been picking up rather well. And so this is definitely a sector you should be looking at, especially since it's only been starting to pick up over the last couple of days. If we go back to CGC, and we can take a look here this turn up has only really been happening over the last couple of days. Now, some of you might be arguing, well, yeah, but so has the rest of the market. But if I would like to point something out. Friday, the market did not do well. Dow Jones was down almost 1,000 points. CGC, while had a slightly red day, wasn't nearly as impactful as it was on the rest of the market. So I wouldn't say that this is reacting to the market. I would say that that cannabis is reacting to its own market, and that is cannabis users in and of itself. So I think this is a really nice bounce on CGC, definitely one to continue watching for, and I really would watch for the entire cannabis industry itself. Look at some of your favorite cannabis tickers. If you have any, make sure that their balance sheets are good. Make sure that they're actually good companies. But like I said, CGC is kind of like the what do I want to say? It's almost as if you're looking at SPY, you're looking at how Apple's doing. Those are the companies that are going to influence the market. CGC is going to be that company that influences the rest of the cannabis market. So if CGC is doing well, chances are some of your other weed companies are going to be doing well that day, or maybe trending in this direction as well. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Check in with you guys, see how all y'all are doing. What's up, John Murphy? Good to see you. All right, so yeah. I got to see some good tickers rolling in here, guys. If you're getting value out of this video so far, I would appreciate a thumbs up. Thanks so much. Also, I just want to stop real quick and let you know that if you have not yet joined the YouTube membership, so I put out a stock or a watch list every single morning before the opening bell. If you guys want to be a part of that, click join next to the subscribe button on my channel, and you can be a part of the Chaos, Own the Chaos membership, YouTube membership. So go check that out if you guys are interested in that. And so moving on to the next ticker is going to be RH. Now, RH, if you guys aren't familiar with this, they operate as a holding company which operates the business through its subsidiary, Restoration Hardware, hence the ticker symbol RH, offers furniture, lighting, textiles, bathware, yada, yada, yada. So this one's actually been doing very well quarter after quarter. And so this one isn't necessarily one that we're fitting into that mold of these are the companies that are doing very well because of the COVID crisis that we're dealing with. But they have been doing so well that I would imagine that they're going to do just as good this time around. So they're reporting for quarter four here. Last quarter, their expected earnings of $222, and they blasted them out of the water at $279. The previous quarter, expected earnings were $270, and they crushed them at $3.20. This quarter is expected to post earnings of $3.58. Will they beat that? I think they can. So if we're looking here, and let's share my screen here again, bringing you back over to WeTrade. Bringing you back over to WeTradeHQ.com, and looking here at the chart, you can see this is actually starting to get some movement as well. Now, would I hold this over earnings? No, I don't know if I would or not. I always strongly encourage people to understand the risk when trading into an earnings play. Sometimes I will trade earnings, absolutely. But in this market, it might be a little bit, it might be more riskier than it usually is to trade, through earnings or hold over earnings. It can be very challenging to do so. So what I would suggest you to do is understand the risk going into it, make your calculated decisions based off of a lot of the research that you've done on your own, as well as watching here on the Own the Chaos channel, and really kind of calculating your risk there and asking yourself if it's worth taking here or not. What I would say is that if you're not comfortable trading through earnings, that's okay. I would look for a really, really nice bounce here off of $77.30. This is where it really bottomed out and started to make this bounce. So if it comes back down here and bounces off the $77.30 range, I would look for a nice continuation in this channel. So if this bottoms out here and starts to make that bounce, I would say that it's probably going to do very well holding within that channel until the market comes back around. Once the market comes back around, because this company is doing so well, irregardless of what's going on in the economy at this point in time, I would say that RH is definitely one to hang your hat on, given, depending on how these earnings reports turn out. If they beat earnings yet again, I would imagine it's going to blast right through $120 and continue to go up, provided that we start to see improvements in the COVID crisis and that things starting moving in the right direction. If there is one thing related to the home improvement, restoration, I think obviously Home Depot, your Lowe's, those are going to be good ones to hold on to. But RH is definitely one that is throwing their hat into the ring in this space. And because they've been doing so well and blowing their earnings out of the water, this is definitely one that I would consider holding on to, putting in your long-term portfolio. Or if you want to make a trade on this, like I said, a break over $120, especially if earnings especially if they crush earnings yet again. I think this one definitely one to watch out for. All right, let me check in with you guys. Whoops. Oh, no. I lost you. I lost you in the chat. All right, let me pull you back up here. I lost you. Hold on one sec. All right. I got a lot of people saying, hey, what's up? What's going on? John Musel, what's going on, Chuck? Good to see you. Happy to have you guys here. Good to see you all rolling in here. It's awesome. You guys, I got to say, this has been a fantastic last couple of weeks. My channel's been growing very well. I would say since the beginning of the year, channel's been growing very well, and I have a lot of you guys to thank. So Stockwatch Sunday, more people have been tuning in than ever live, and then also people are going back and watching it as well. So I just got to thank you guys so much for that. I really appreciate the support. And again, if you're getting value out of this video, I certainly would appreciate that thumbs up. So moving on, McCormick. Now, McCormick is, like I said, we were talking about just before we started diving into this. This is another good stay-at-home type play. We've been talking about a lot of these stay-at-home type plays. Your Zooms, Amazon, even Walmart and Costco. Those are ones that are good, like stay-at-home or good plays to make as we're dealing with this issue. And McCormick is definitely one of them because, like I was saying, if you're staying at home, that means you're cooking more. That means that the demand for seasonings are higher. So if you guys aren't familiar with what McCormick does, they are a seasoning company, born and raised in Baltimore, right here where I am at. So I got a little affinity to McCormick. There's a very popular seasoning in this area, this neck of the woods, called Old Bay. So if you're not familiar with that, it's everywhere. You just got to go look for it. But it is the best seasoning ever. Goes on crabs and pretty much everything else, popcorn, whatever. But I love McCormick. We love Old Bay here in Maryland, and really we just love McCormick. But besides all that, from a financial standpoint, they are a very, very good company. They continue to grow year after year. They're crushing quarters, quarterly earnings, and this week, on Tuesday, they have earnings pre-market. They outran their fundamentals before its sell-off that happened with everybody else. So I think at this point, they've dropped from $180 a share, thereabouts, all the way down to around $112 a share. Started to bounce this week just like everything else did, but I think this is going to be another good one to hang your hat on. Estimated earnings are $1.04 per share. I think they beat those earnings, but I think the more important thing here is that they shed light on positive outlooks for sales for the year, making this a buy and hold for me. So I think that they're going to be a good buy and hold play here because of how much they've dropped and just how good this company is and continues to be despite everything else that's going on in the country, especially from an economic standpoint. So if we go ahead and look at this over at WeTradeHQ.com, you can see that, like I said, it came all the way down to about $112. We'll call it actually more, to be more accurate, $111.86, and it started to make a move back up this week, just like everything else, as I was stating before. But this is what I'm saying. When we talk about companies that start to sell off, they're selling off because they're not going to be able to sell as much as they were before. They're not going to be able to bring in the revenue because the people aren't going to be there. McCormick's going to be one of those companies that they have to stay open. It's like in Maryland, they're still considered essential. They're still very much open. They have to send their products out to grocery stores and that sort of thing. So this is a company that fundamentally makes a lot of sense to be into, going into not only these earnings, but also beyond this week. And I would consider holding this one throughout this recession that we're going to be, faced with. So because, like I said, some of the companies that we're going to be focusing on, not only this week, but into the next few following weeks, is we're going to focus on companies that can still function despite the rest of the economy being shut down. So those are the companies you're going to want to lean on. McCormick's definitely one of them. Be on the lookout for those pre-market earnings coming out on Tuesday. And, like I always say, understand the risk holding through earnings, but I think this is going to be a good one. Even if earnings don't go their way, that this is going to be one that I would still hold on to long-term, put in your long-term portfolio, and I don't think that you'll be let down by McCormick at all. So let me check in with you folks. Let's see how we're doing here. Old Bay, that's right, King Bradicus. Old Bay, man, it's the best. It's the best. It goes on shrimp. It goes on, like I said, popcorn. Some people put it on their ice cream. It's crazy. In Maryland, they put it on all kinds of stuff. MKC is the ticker symbol. Primetime DJs. It's MKC. All right, next one we're going to look at is PVH. They come out with earnings on April 1st. After hours, they come out with April 1st. So this is going to be a company that actually is the only one that really isn't related to the issues at hand as far as like the stay-at-home type plays. But I thought it was interesting to note that PVH, so if you get not familiar with PVH, they are the parent company of Tommy Hilfiger and Calvin Klein. And so what I would say is that right now they actually have not been doing well. The growth over the last year has been down about 2% or so. So it's not like they have been doing terrible, but they're not doing great. And then you throw COVID into it, right? Then manufacturing slows and everything else. But what did we learn from Nike? I told you guys last Stockwatch Sunday that Nike was definitely one that I would actually remain bullish on even through earnings, and even though they shut down their China factory and that they've had to shut down factories outside of China, even though they just reopened the one in China. But they still do well because they are a good company with good numbers, and they continue to grow despite recessions, and they just done very well. And their earnings came out, and guess what they did? They did extremely well out of those earnings reports, and even throughout the rest of the week, they did very well too. So just because things aren't going great doesn't mean that you can't look for good opportunities. And I think in PVH, it's going to be a good opportunity. If you see here, it's way oversold. Let me switch over here, and I can tell you it's down 64%. From before the crash. So, all the way up here, $108 came all the way down to $28 a share. This is extremely oversold. I think the valuation here is ridiculous, despite, the issues that we're dealing with at hand. And you can see that it bounced somewhat, came all the way up to $42. But for a drop all the way down from $108 all the way down to $28, that's ridiculous. And I think it's just a joke at this point in time. They come out with earnings, and I think that if they don't beat earnings, let me just run the numbers here by you again real quick. Expected earnings are $1.80 per share. Revenue is expected to be down just slightly from last quarter at $2.48 billion of revenue. And so if they miss these somehow, I would say that this doesn't go much lower than $27.85. I have a hard time believing that. I really do. I don't think the earnings matter much here for PVH. What I want you to focus on is just the fact that this is down over 64% from its highs. And this is definitely something that it's just, there's still demand for clothes. People are still buying clothes, and they still have online stores that are all very much open. And I think that PVH is just severely undervalued here, given the reaction that it's had as a result of, the rest of the stock market crashing. This is one that is extremely undervalued, guys. 64% is a joke, and the way that this is evaluated here is just, it's ridiculous. So this is definitely one that I would look at. Make sure you're paying attention to those earnings that come out on April 1st after hours, and I think you'll do well with that one if you play it right. So again, looking for it to come back down to 27.50 area. If it does do that, it is a solid buy for me. Whether they have good earnings or not. So that is it for PVH. Let me bring you guys back here. Let's see here. Let me check in with y'all. On PVH, wait till it starts pushing up more. John, so I would not wait till it starts pushing up more. I would wait till after, I would probably wait till after earnings come out. I'm probably not going to hold. I'm not going to buy and hold PVH before earnings. I really kind of want to get a good look on what's going on. But then more importantly, I want to look to see, I would venture to say that maybe they end up coming right in at earnings, but the outlook here is probably not going to be good for them, which is going to lend itself a good opportunity to buy in on the cheap. So if it comes back down and bounces off of the bottom here, I'm definitely going to be buying into some PVH. I mean, it's almost a no-brainer. Like I said, for this to come down as much as it has, it doesn't deserve to be down here. It just really doesn't. So, all right. Earnings, Ramirez, again, earnings are coming out on April 1st for PVH. What did I say? After hours. After hours. So, okay. Last one that does have to do with a good stay-at-home play is going to be Chewy. Chewy comes out with earnings after hours on the 2nd, which is Thursday. So after hours on Thursday, the demand for Chewy has been ridiculous. Now, this is one that just IPO'd in 2019. They've been doing very well. They're not profitable yet. I think they're getting very, very close. During the crash, shares avoided a new 52-week low, and they have actually bounced off of that 52-week low at $21.94. I'm sorry, not $21.94. $21.94 is going to be the new support. $20.61 is where the low was 2 weeks ago. And I think that, like I said, it doesn't deserve to be down here. I think people are just starting to figure out, hey, Chewy's in very high demand. If you guys aren't familiar with what Chewy does, they actually sell pet products to your door. People are still trying to feed their families. They're also still feeding their pets. Pets are family, right? So, instead of going out to the pet store, they're going to have them shipped to them. And that's what Chewy does for folks who have pets and they don't want to go out. So $35 is resistance here. So if we look at this, it's already started to break over that on Friday, just a little bit. I think that if this continues to stay above $35, that $40 mark is going to be crucial. I think it runs to $40. Estimated earnings are at a loss of 8 cents per share. I think they actually beat those earnings, probably not by much. We'll say that they operate at a loss at 7, maybe 6 cents. But what the important thing that I'm looking out for here is the outlook on Chewy. I think that Chewy actually will provide us with some sort of outlook on how they're keeping up with demand. Do they plan on hiring more people? All that stuff's going to come into play as far as the price action on Chewy is concerned. So I think, like I said, we've seen this with Blue Apron, with the food delivery service, Blue Apron. Amazon's still doing extremely well. It's holding very well. Your Walmarts, your Costco's. Guys, this is what I've been talking about. The companies that are going to do well throughout this crisis are going to be companies that still can stay open despite the crisis, like Zoom, like the ones that I just mentioned. So Chewy's in that. Chewy's in that category. And so we're looking at this technically, like I said, if it stays up above $35, look for this to continue to be bullish all the way on up to $40 and maybe even beyond that. All right. So that is the stocks that I am watching this week. So now the fun part. Now we get to look and see what it is that you guys want to look at. Now, before I get started, I would like to invite you to give me a call at 443-281-3763. Again, that's 443-281-3763. I'll put that in the chat there, 443. Again, I'll repeat it again, 281-3763. Now, you guys have been really shy about this. I have gotten a couple of calls, and it's been a lot of fun, but if y'all would like to continue to do that, I'd be happy to take them. So I will go ahead and answer any of the ones that are in the chat, though. And so, Alan, I see that there's any more left for RVDO. As new partner, people like this stock. But so RVDO is a penny stock, guys. If you guys are looking at this one, thanks for the all the info there, Alan. So RVDO, if you guys are familiar with penny stocks, OTC trading, that's kind of where I came from. So you're looking at this one, RVDO, I think actually the story has yet to be written here. CEO of DCGD, if you guys remember that one, went from less than a penny, under a penny, all the way up to over $2 per share. DCGD was a monster, probably the penny stock of the year. Same CEO is now looking to take over RVDO. So very early stages here, Alan. A lot of us within the mentorship group got in at around 20 cents. and had a quick double, and that was very, very low volume. So RVDO, definitely one to continue to take a look at. I think the story has yet to been written on that one. So speaking of the mentorship, if you guys are interested in checking that out, the links are in the description below. And I've been doing this free month, and I think that I'm going to continue to do that. So if you go and type in stocks, if you go to WeTradeHQ.com or click the links in the description to join the mentorship, I go live with folks from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time every single day of the week. And then I'm with my folks in the mentorship in the private chat 24/7. So if you guys want to check that out, the promo code for that is going to be just stocks. And I'm going to put that in there. Promo code. Whoops. Bear with me. Promo code stocks, and you guys get a free month. You guys, there's nothing better for you to do, right? You're sitting at home anyway. Why not come and learn with me over at Own the Chaos and learn how to invest, learn how to day trade. It's a really great community to be a part of, and now you get a month for free. So, and this isn't me trying to just capitalize on the misfortune of others. It's just, if you got nothing better to do, get yourself a free month. Go check it out. Stocks is the promo code. Links in the description. Go check that out. So, AYTU, can you bounce back previous highs? Let's take a look at AYTU. Eunice is asking about AYTU. I think this is a COVID-related stock. Let me take a look and just confirm that for you. Yeah, AYTU Bioscience. I believe they came out with news recently as it relates to COVID. Regains compliance with NASDAQ. They just did that. Let's see. Issue coronavirus. Rapid tests in North America. So, yeah, that's what's going on with AYTU. You could see, let me pull up the chart here. This is a really choppy chart. Here's what I'll say about a lot of these biotech companies. And if you guys didn't tune into Friday's video, I'd encourage you to go watch that, not because of the stocks that I pointed out, but also at the end of that video, I talk about just being cautious with a lot of these biosciences or biotech type stocks. You can take a look here at the chart on AYTU. It's a little choppy. It's a little all over the place. So so being able to manage risk here is really tough because you don't know where a really solid support is going to end up being. You can try to make the argument as much as you want, but the fact of the matter remains is that there's a very good chance that AYTU does extremely well, and then they come out with some big, huge offering that just crushes the price of the stock. And if you guys aren't familiar with what offerings are, it basically is a toxic form of debt. They already are in a ton of debt at this point in time. So there's probably a very good chance that if they get this to run up and do well, then they're going to come out with some massive offering. And we see this time and again. So AYTU, while I think that maybe it has some potential to move here, I would look for breaks above $2. $2 flat seems to be the area where it could break and then maybe potentially continue to go up from there, especially with the way that it moved previously last week. But what I would say is just be very careful with this because you look at a lot of these biotech stocks, they have tons of debt, especially all the NASDAQ ones, and they just can't stop diluting because they take on huge financing to be able to support their project or whatever it is that they're doing. And that's what they're living off of right now. So a lot of these companies have hardly any revenue, if they even have revenue at all. So the value is just in their research and development. So I don't know. We'll see what AYTU does, but I hope that they don't do an offering, but I have a really strong inkling that they will. So just be careful with that. If you get into something like AYTU, I would encourage you not to stick around very long. If you do, at least make sure that you're selling something to, at the very least, protect your capital. So it's not me bashing AYTU. It's just the fact of this actual whole sector. It's not just AYTU. It's all biotech sciences, especially anything that's valued under $10. They're under $10. They're under $5 for a reason. And it's because they can't dig themselves out of the hole that they put themselves in. So, all right, so I got a phone call here. Let me go ahead and take the call here. What's going on? This is Brad. Who's this?
Hey, it's Alan.
Hey, what's up, Alan?
What do you think about INKW? That go anything or not?
Yeah, so really great question. So I'm going to let you go, Alan. Thanks for the call. So he's asking about INKW, and this is one that I was battling whether or not to share this one tonight, but we'll go ahead and pull this up. So INKW, this is one that I've loved to hate. So any of my penny stock OTC traders out there, INKW, if you've been trading in the OTC for any length of time, know that this has been a thorn in a lot of people's sides. So if you go to OTCmarkets.com, that's going to be where you would kind of do a lot of your due diligence on penny stocks. And this is one that I've been watching for quite some time. So this is a company that they have a bottling facility down in North Carolina where they have a lot of water products that they're being built. This is a company that's just getting their products up and running. They just came out with news where they had a $10 million let me see here is it in the news? Let me just double check. Yeah, they just signed a $14 million agreement for sales purchase with Sunflower Consulting Group. So $14 million worth of their bottled water is going to be bought by them. But what I thought was interesting about INKW as well is that they came out with a supplemental filing on Thursday this past week, and then they were talking about disaster relief efforts and that they were looking to get approval here on from FEMA to be able to provide them for disaster relief in the form of bottled water. So this is very interesting. Their aquifers that provide them with the water that they're bottling are I guess being approved or have been approved by FEMA. So we'll see where this goes. If they get a government deal, I think this is going to be very major for INKW. A government deal could mean huge revenue for them. And so, like I said, it's been a love-hate relationship with them, but you don't have much to lose when something's being priced down at 0022 cents per share. You know, it's just nuts. 0022, I mean, take that for what you will. I wouldn't go throwing the farm at something like INKW, but there's definitely potential there for it to make a nice little move if you guys want to go check that out. All right, thanks, Alan. Appreciate the call, man. Next one is from Music Bill. I think, what about FELPU? While they are reconstructing, maybe some profits, but only daily thoughts on. And P.S. Thanks for the upbeat videos these past 2 weeks. Stay safe, brother. Yeah, you too, man. Make sure that you're staying safe as well. So just to answer your question, Music Bill, I would say that FELPU, it's been a struggle. FELPU is another over-the-counter penny stock. I would say that just be very cautious with that one. It just, for whatever reason, it can't get out of its own way. Maybe it ends up moving up, but I'm not very optimistic on that one any longer. So we did talk about AYTU, primetime DJs. Let's see here for Bo. Bo says, is RCL worth a buy around 19 for a long-term investment? So let's see here. RCL. Looking at the chart here on RCL, this is Royal Caribbean. I've had the same feelings about all of these. How do I say this? All the cruise lines, they're not in good shape, and I would say that they're going to get worse before they get better. Should you be buying Royal Caribbean? Should you be buying CCL? Should you be buying the Wynn Resorts at this point in time? I would say no. And I think this is directly tied to whether or not we can come up with a vaccine and or treatment for COVID. And I would say that until that happens, RCL, CCL, they're all going to have issues. Whether the bailout helps them out or not, that's not what's going to fix something like a CCL, RCL, or Wynn Resorts. So I would say that looking here at the chart, you stated, let me see, what did you state? You said that looking for price range around $19. I would say, well, I mean, right now RCL is being priced, closed at $34. I don't know where you got that number from. I mean, I guess maybe you bought in at the very low at around 1946. If you bought at 1946, you're doing very, very, very well. But I would say that this is probably not going to last very, very long. I would say that this continues to come down unless we see some sort of massive change from the treatment of COVID right now. Nobody's going to want to go on a cruise, just like nobody's going to want to go on a plane. Nobody's going to want to be in an enclosure where there's risk involved of catching this disease. So I would say that right now, these cruise liners are in a heap of trouble, and they're only going to continue to be in trouble whether or not they get bailed out at this point in time. Can you start to scale yourself in as a longer-term investment? Sure. But I would not make this any big, huge part of your portfolio at all whatsoever. I would still be looking at the good companies such as your Costco's, your Walmarts, and all the ones that we've talked about tonight. McCormick, Zoom, all those are going to be really good ones that you want to take a look at. Chewy, Amazon even. Right now, you could start to make educated decisions as to whether or not these are the types of stocks you might want to put in a long-term portfolio, and maybe even the airliners as well. But I will say that, I think the worst is still yet to come for these stocks, because nobody's going to want to be who wants to be on a big, huge boat right now with potential risk of COVID. It's just, nobody wants to do that. And I don't think it's going to happen for at least a year. I think the fear of getting on a cruise ship is going to be, it's going to have a long lasting effect. So, last week you talked about holding Gush. I thought about getting in 1,000-ish when it dropped to 33 cents, but didn't. Woke up the next day and it was at $14. Can you please explain the effect? So Thomas, very good question on Gush. It actually went through a reverse split. So whenever companies go through a reverse split, you're going to see a dramatic price change because the amount of shares have decreased. In this case, it was a reverse split, the 110 reverse split. After the split, though, it actually did very well. Oil was up quite a bit. I don't expect oil to do very much of anything this week, but if you guys were able to buy in after the split on Gush, you probably did very well. Let's see here. How's crypto list? Yeah, I'm not big on crypto, so I really don't know much about that. JNUG versus JDST. I would say that JDST is the play here. JNUG probably ends up coming back around, but JDST still, that's the one I would be bullish on. Excuse me, sorry about that. I'm like, I got the upper gas right now. Okay. Are you looking at something particular for ABT? ABT, I'm not looking, not that I can think of. I don't know anything about Arc Block. Is this another crypto? Yeah, I got nothing on crypto. I got nothing on that. Guys, I don't do cryptocurrency, so sorry about that. Might want to go check out whomever is, watch. I can't take crypto seriously. Especially not in this market. Everybody thought that Bitcoin was going to be their saving grace when the rest of the stock market crashed, and lo and behold, they were just liquidating everything. Nothing's safe from liquidation. Yeah, absolutely, Bo. No problem. Okay. All right. Yeah, Paso is definitely another good one. PASO, if you guys are checking out penny stocks, we've talked about that one before. Not much has changed between last week and this week. ABT 5-minute test kit. ABT is not pulling up on here. I thought for a second that it's not a crypto. It looks like it's a penny stock. They have a 5-minute test kit now. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm sure they will do well. ABT, let's take a look. I'm going to pull it up on Yahoo Finance and see if I can find something here. Yeah, why didn't it? That's weird. My apologies. It did not pull up. It pulled up a crypto that's Arc Block crypto. I actually went and looked at it. Yahoo Finance. My apologies for that little mix up there. Prime time. That's my fault. So yeah, looking at this, Abbott Laboratories, they came out with news. Let's take a look here. It releases COVID test systems that has results in 5 minutes. I did see something about this. I didn't realize it was ABT. Let's take a look at, I wanted to take a look at the chart, but I guess I can't. Let's try this again. ABT. Let me see if it actually pulls up. There it is. Okay. Again, my apologies, man. I really do apologize for that. So yeah, ABT, let's take a look at the chart here. So let's pull this over and take a look at this. So if this actually holds true and those tests are accurate, because here's the other thing about these tests. If you guys aren't aware, a lot of these tests that they're administering, first of all, they're not fun. They have to take a huge, giant, long Q-tip and put it right in the back of your throat, which is not through your nose, by the way. It's not a fun test at all. But even those tests are only about 40% accurate right now. Believe it or not. They're only about, I think it's 40%. It's a very low number. So looking at this, a 5-minute test seems a little bit too good to be true. Maybe it continues to move, though, and maybe it is accurate. I would say here, though, if it does continue to move, look for a break above $75 is going to be that resistance here. You can see it clear as day, $75 right here. is that support, so, or that resistance. So if it breaks over this resistance, should have a nice continuation. Now it's breaking up over about 74.59, but 75 is going to be that sweet spot there. I would look for a breakup over that if this actually continues. The only thing that concerns me is that what's the validity here? Is it for real? Or are they just blowing smoke? Well, I mean, we'll have to remain to be seen. But if it's for real, if it does a good job, if it's accurate, then yeah, I would say that ABT is going to be a good, solid investment. I would say that, like I said, breaking up over that $75 range, and then maybe breaking back up over again around those highs around $75.50. Those would be good ones good areas of resistance to watch for on that one. Let's see here. All right. I hope I answered your question there. Yep. No problem, DJs. Yeah. And so everything's been fast tracked as far as FDA approval goes. So they didn't do like any kind of long testing on this. Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not, and I hate to be Debbie Downer. I'm just saying, be cautiously optimistic is what I would say. Be cautiously optimistic about it. So, everybody's asking about AYTU. Guys, we already went over AYTU. I see a lot of, it looks like everything else is, I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm just trying to, like I said, be cautiously optimistic. Here's what happens when you get faced with an issue such as this, and we've seen this a lot. And I'm going to bring up a couple of examples. One of them is going to be when cannabis started to get legalized, everybody and their mother, whether the company was related to the cannabis industry or not, had something to do with the cannabis industry because they wanted to get their name out there. They wanted, when somebody searched them out, they wanted their name to come up as it related to cannabis, whether it was related to it or not. And I'm not saying that ABT isn't a related company or a legitimate company. They're valued at $75 a share. $74.56 is what they closed at. So it's a legitimate company. But what I will say is that everybody is in a race right now. They're in a race to try to find something that they can contribute to this so that they can make money with it, right? That's why Moderna and Gilead and Regen, they're all in a race, not just to help save lives, because yes, that's a very huge part of it, but also to make money. And so the part of this is, is this, how accurate is this test? 5 minutes? When, they just tested the president and it took them at least 12 hours to get those test results back. And we've already seen that the accuracy of these test results haven't been all that great. So when you're looking at something like this, you have to ask yourself, is it too good to be true? And I'm not saying that it is or it isn't, but be cautiously optimistic. And that's what I'll leave it at that. Okay. You can't trust the market. You can trust. You can trust your instincts and your experience. 75 too rich for my blood. It's not too rich for your blood if those results are, if that actually proves to be very, very good. I love that phrase. Everybody loves to say that something that's $75 is too rich for your blood. What does that even mean? What if it goes to $150 a share? Would you have taken it at $75? You damn right you would have. It's like Boeing. Boeing was down at like $80 a share a week and a half ago. Went all the way up to $160, $170. You wouldn't have taken that money? Hell yeah, you would have. So I would say it all comes down to the percentage. The potential for percentage of movement, the volatility is what you're looking for, not the price. And that's one really good key of advice that I would give anybody. Price doesn't matter. I mean, look at Tesla. If you looked at Tesla at $150 a share and said, I'm not too crazy about that because it's too expensive. So anyhow, share price doesn't mean value. Absolutely. So, all right. That's going to do it for me, guys. I really appreciate y'all. If you got value out of today's video, again, like I said, I would appreciate that thumbs up. Go check out the promo code. If you're interested in joining in my mentorship, like I said, where I go live with folks every day from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time, and then with them throughout the entire day via a private chat group as well. Answer all of your questions, help you out through your investments and day trading as well. The links are down in the description. Use the promo code STOCKS, all caps, STOCKS, over at WeTradeHQ.com. You get 1 month free. Also, make sure that you're checking out the Own the Chaos memberships over on the channel memberships. You get a watch list from me if you're not feeling the mentorship and you just want to get a watch list every single day. Go check that out. Click the join button over there as well. And that is going to do it for me, folks. Thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. I would appreciate it. And as always, folks, I will see you all before the bell. B. Smith is out. Good luck this week, folks.